All the world's two major conflicts in Ukraine and the Middle East are dominating discussions at the G7 summit in France. US President Donald Trump turning his attention now back to Ukraine. Welcome news for G7 leaders keen for progress to end Russia's war, now just almost 4.5 years in. The Middle East, though, still a key focus. Leaders from Egypt, Qatar and the UAE joining talks on regional stability. France says some G7 members are ready to support maritime operations in the Strait of Hormuz in the coming days. France, of course, along with the UK, having proposed a naval coalition to secure passage after a deal on peace is reached. Ross Cullen tracking developments for us for CNA, and he joins us live from Evian, where, of course, the G summit is being held. Ross, Ukraine and the Middle East, as we've mentioned, a key focus. What developments have you seen?
Yeah, that's right, Wei Su. We had a morning session lasting just over an hour where Ukraine was the key point of focus. That was the joint session, the G7 leaders and the Ukrainian president. And then Volodymyr Zelensky has this afternoon been holding one-on-one meetings with the different leaders, including the British Prime Minister Keir Starmer, talking about that new package of sanctions that the United Kingdom has announced. And Keir Starmer himself was saying that he's starting to sense what he described as a mood change or perhaps a momentum shift when it comes to Ukraine starting to retake small sections of territory that had previously been occupied by Russia. Volodymyr Zelensky also sat down with Donald Trump, the two men sitting for a meeting alongside their advisors. And Volodymyr Zelensky said it is always important to coordinate positions. Donald Trump saying that Russia must agree a peace accord. We do know that overall Emmanuel Macron had wanted this day to be split, more or less, that the morning should be focused on supporting Ukraine and trying to regain that initiative with supporting Ukrainian armed forces, increasing aid and also increasing and tightening sanctions on the Kremlin. And then this afternoon, the main focus was back on the Middle East with the different meetings involving the invited guests from the Middle East, including Egypt, Qatar and the UAE.
So, Ross, you mentioned the meetings that Volodymyr Zelensky has had individually with different leaders from the G7, an example of the types of very important sideline meetings and working sessions as well at the G7.
Yeah, that's right, Wei Su. You have the formal sessions where all the leaders meet together to address global challenges and the geopolitical crises. The key were some of the reasons that underscore why the G7 exists, to try to deal with these international challenges. And then different leaders meet either accidentally or deliberately on the sidelines, taking a chance just to have these one-on-ones. Some of them are agreed in advance. We know that the Indian Prime Minister has been in France for a few days now. He's had a chance to have a separate pre-G7 meeting with Emmanuel Macron in the French southern city of Nice. Now he's here in the G7 summit location of Evian on the shores of Lake Geneva. And we know that he is meeting the US President Donald Trump. So that potentially could be a good way to try to ensure that India remains important for the United States. So much of the discussion over the past few weeks has been about the US-Iran peace deal and Pakistan's role as chief negotiator, as a go-between, taking messages between Tehran and Washington. So that could be an area that could potentially be tricky for Narendra Modi to navigate, especially with the tit-for-tat tariffs. We've seen the US government imposing a lot of import taxes on India. So they want to be able to conclude a trade deal, and he wants to try to be able to take that initiative back away from the US focus and the US support for and praise for Pakistan, hoping to also show and say just how important India is as well, and just how important that relationship is between Washington and Delhi.
Thanks to Ross Cullen for CNA, covering, of course, the G7 summit in Evian in France.